Oh, does one of us have something on sound? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Investing Bros. It is the Friday show. You know what that means. We got a weekend coming up. And here's the thing. Listen, I think a lot of people are down this morning. Bitcoin is down. Ethereum's down. Cardano's down. People's hopes and dreams and feelings and life goals are down. But we are up this morning because, A, when Bitcoin goes down, that's a great buying spot. Second of all, T. Shroom's about to leave on a vacation, so he's just flying on cloud nine right now. But we're going to cover all of this in this show. Crypto went down. Why is that? Is it simple as just saying Silvergate, or is there stuff a little bit deeper? Something is happening with Bitcoin miners. They seem to see something coming because over the last week, they've liquidated over 3,800 Bitcoin, and they didn't wait for Silvergate to do so. So is something else brewing in the crypto market? We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. But let's start off on this very positive last show of the week on this Friday. T. Shroom, how are you doing this morning?
I'm flying high, Tim.
Yeah.
You said I was on cloud 9. I'm on cloud 10.
Ooh.
I'm ready to go on vacation
Ooh.
and leave all my worries behind and have a good time with Amanda and all of her friends in the physical therapy program at the University of Florida. And we're going to, let me show you guys where we're going. I have pulled up on a map that I'm not logged into Chrome on. CryptoSec guy. That was mainly for you. Check this out. Not Tim drinking his Celsius, but check out this map here. This is a map of mostly these United States, but also the Caribbean. And I will be departing from Tampa here. And I'll be making my way down to, I told them Cozumel is where I want to go. And so it'll be Cozumel. And then from Cozumel, we'll leave when I say we'll leave. And then we'll go to the Cayman Islands here. Maybe I'll open a bank account or two, maybe start a couple crypto exchanges.
Not a bad idea.
While I'm down there with their favorable banking laws. And then we'll come over to Havana, say hello to some of my friends over there in Havana.
Cuba.
Over in Cuba, and I'll advise them on some of the political issues they're having over there, and they'll implement my laws as they have in the past, and then I'll come back over here to Tampa, and it'll be a very, very fun time.
Yeah. Good question, though, for you. Do you feel like you deserve this trip?
I deserve this more than I am. Yes. I will, and when I'm on the cruise, I'll be better than I deserve for sure.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. I was trying to get at if you deserve the trip. Is this trip going to make you better than you deserve, less than you deserve, right at what you deserve?
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
There'll be points where it'll be right at where I deserve, but probably not under.
Yeah. Maybe the old Cuba.
Yeah.
Visit.
Yeah.
Well, do we have a quote of the day before we get into some crypto stuff?
Of course, Tim.
Yeah.
Of course. In your voice, it sounded like you may have been doubting me there.
I have my doubts from time to time.
Okay.
Yeah, but you've been faithful so far, so I'm going to get those doubts suppressed.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, the quote of the day is from St. Augustine. He said, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page." Wow, that is profound. What do you think?
Maybe. I don't know.
You don't think the world's a book?
I don't know how you equate it to one page. Like, so is it like...
Are you saying you don't understand the quote at all?
Is a page a city? Is a page a state? Because what's travel? Like, I live in Gainesville, Florida. When I travel to Tampa, is that travel, or is that still one page, or is that page two? And if I go up to North Carolina or Maine, is that another page, or do I have to leave the country to get to a different page? What do I have to do to get to a new page?
Let me put it in words you'll understand. If you're looking at a price chart of Bitcoin, right, and you only see January 8th, 2001.
That's
2000,
that's one candle.
2012, actual time where there was
one candle,
and that's all you could see, just the candle.
Yeah,
you're not gonna think much about Bitcoin.
You did not answer anything of what I just asked about what it constitutes to get to a new page.
Let me put it in words you'll understand. You're reading the Bible, which you can only read Ezekiel chapter 5
And
that's all you can read.
Does that cover more than one page? I haven't read Ezekiel 5 in a little minute.
And you have to surmise all of the Gospels.
Sometimes
from just that
chapters in the Bible take up more than one page.
Okay. Let me put it into terms you'll understand.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Ew. If any indication of how the show's going so far, it's going to be a great one. What do we have to do? I put a poll in chat. Another good question for you guys. So I actually liked an answer that a mellow fellow gave, and I'll explain it here in a second. But what did you guys vote? If you guys not have voted already on our poll, go and vote for me. How do you take your cup of Joe? And I'm gonna ask you, T-Shim. I think I know the answer, but do you take it black coffee? Just get that cup brewing and then drink it as it is. A little bit of creamer with your coffee, a little bit of coffee with your creamer, or I put at the end coffee sucks, but I should have put it the way a mellow fellow puts it is you don't do drugs. Because coffee technically is a drug.
Yeah. Well, usually I just take it black, but recently I've been putting milk in it. Why? But why though? Why is the question? It's important to know why.
Yeah.
Just to cool it down faster so I can get it down the gullet. That's why. And
Okay.
I even was putting water in it for a while, but I was like, why am I putting water?
So there's no reason for not a flavor profile whatsoever. This is strictly a performance enhancing added supplement.
To be honest with you, I don't like the way it tastes with milk, but I don't care. It's a barely I don't like it type of thing. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
and I'm probably getting a little bit more vitamin C from the milk.
Probably.
Was that in vitamin?
Nope.
What vitamins are in milk, Tim?
K and D and
that's what it is, vitamin D.
Yeah.
So
you'd also, what you could get vitamin D doing? Just going
walking outside.
Yeah.
Going on a cruise.
Oh! Whoa! So you don't need any more milk anytime soon, is what you're really saying.
Oh no.
So yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Also, calcium, by the way, is great for milk.
Yeah,
but
that's not vitamin C.
Let's not repeat yesterday's mistake, which if you guys watched us yesterday, it was the most glorious blunder of them all. It was a beautiful mess that can be. How did you describe it? It's like we spilled on the carpet and then we tried to clean it, but we cleaned it with bleach, and then somewhere we cut a cat's tail off.
Yeah, and then you realize you bleached it, so you have to cut out the piece of the carpet with an X-Acto knife.
Yeah,
and then you're turning around to go throw away the X-Acto. The X-Acto knife slips out and it nicks your tail of the cat. Yeah, and then the cat bleeds all around the house, and so things go south even from there. And what was one simple little mistake cascades into a cacophony of unfortunate events.
Cacophony. Wow.
Yeah.
What a word.
Yeah.
That should be the word of the day.
Yeah, it's the kind of word that makes you just want to jump on a boat and go on a cruise,
Well, the reason I introduced this is because I said I don't want us to make the same mistake we made yesterday. And the reason we made that many mistakes is because we didn't read names.
Yes.
We didn't engage with chat.
We got to do that today.
And so we have learned from our mistake, and we are going to make sure we do that. The first commenter of the day was a mellow fellow, so shout out to him. We also got Mike Play is here, Curtis Rorick is here, Wind Peoples, Army Piper, Eric Wallen, Gia S is here, Eric Wallen again, V Slim, Redbeard.crypto saying more than all. Good to see you guys in here. Justin Eubanks is here. Who else do we have? Max PP, Lex Caliber. Bob is here. Servando Estrada is here. Yes, beautiful name.
Estrada.
Crypto Mini Bike, Dustin Singer, Al Bundles, Pashas. Who else do we have? Cryptex is here. Crimson Caravan Company, the Triple C is in the chat. Let's see. Crypto Trades is here. So's Majid. Let's see. Jojo. And we'll get a couple more here, and then we will continue on into the show. Rave Song Records, Andy D, Merce, Oz, 10 Games, and then last one, of course it has to be one that's hard to pronounce, Ivalov Majetsky.
I like that.
Ivalov Majetsky, maybe? Very interesting. If I didn't read your name, guys, it's not because I don't love you. It's because it is time to move on with the show. And don't go to my screen just yet, because I'm trying to pull it up here. Very interesting thing happened last night. Some of you guys who have been following us for a little bit, you guys know that I have a dog named Beamer. Now, yes. Beamer is a very, very smart trader. Now, his emotions get out of whack. Very, very much so. But let's see if I can make this bigger. I love Beamer. There we go.
Beamer's
Full
is a
screen.
cute little bup.
So last night I was trying to show Tay his new trick because you guys saw our short yesterday. That I made a short yesterday that Beamer came in the office you expected, and he started doing this new thing. He jumps up in my chair. So I made another video. Go to my screen now. Oh, you're on it now. So no audio for now. Anyway, what I'm talking about there, he jumps in the screen. I asked him to look at the charts and give me his take, and he refuses to look at the screen. Absolutely refuses. And I surmised from this that he was bearish about what would happen.
Aww.
Now, take into account, this happened at 7:30 last night, right? At 7:30, give me just 1 second, T-Shroom, and I'm going to get over to what we looked like at 7:30. 7:30 last night, we are sitting right about here. Let's see. Come on, keep going with me. Where are we? This is it's my timeline's messed up. 7:30, we're sitting right over here. 7:30, we're sitting in this region right here. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. About 23,200. No reason to suspect that potentially anything bad is going to happen. We're still holding up. At this point, I went and deleted it this morning. But we had a nice little support level kind of beneath us right here. Nothing bad can happen. We're back at support. We're bullish. We're going back up. Sure enough, Beamer called this just perfectly. He knew it. So the legend that is Beamer and his trading continues last night. And by the way, if you guys want in that Discord I was showing you guys, that was part of our paid Discord. Got some great stuff going on over there. Very fun, but also insightful information. So if you guys want to join, there's a link down below. But that kind of starts off our TA this morning when it comes to Bitcoin. A crash that a lot of people did not see coming, and right now is getting a lot of Silvergate news. And we'll cover that a little bit later in the show. We'll talk about Silvergate and what's happening there. But let's just kind of take a look at, all right, the crash happened. Let's look at Bitcoin and see what potentially we could be expecting from here on out over the next little bit. First thing that I'm going to point out, let's go back out to my daily chart. There is a rising level of support. This was on here. We've had this line, but we're back down testing it. So right now, we just got a third touch on a level of support. Also, you guys can see I have drawn here. We have kind of started to develop a little bit of a falling wedge pattern. Now, this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but we do have a little zone of support, zone of resistance. Also, we've had this drawn for a very long time. Those who've been watching the show for months now know months. We've only been around for a couple of months, though weeks, I will say. This zone we've talked about very significantly. After we broke up through it, we talked about when the bears take control, keep an eye on this zone between 22,400 and about 21,900. Let's just go ahead and call it about 22,000 even. Sure enough, we came down, we tested, we came a couple different rising and falling levels of support, but also staying within this zone. And I did let our Discord know, hey, keep an eye on this. We could rally back up, but for a little bit, don't be surprised if we hover between this 22.4 and about 2200. Sure enough, ever since last night, we have continued those levels. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But when we pull up our oscillators, we do have some decent signs of things coming. First of all, we are setting up some bullish divergence. I already have the support lines drawn right there. We are falling. Our RSI has stayed a little flat. Technically, it's fallen just a little bit. Same thing with our MACD. These bottoms back here on the MACD are lower than what we're currently at. I do want to see us kind of solidify the support to get this, but here's where it gets really kind of cool here. We also just got flashed here. We just got a flash of oversold here on the 4-hourly chart with our chart prime oscillator. And this is something we're going to talk a little bit more in the show, and I go and look at some of the things, other timelines. I want to talk more about this. We just got a new link, by the way, that anyone who uses our link for Chart Prime will get 45% off their monthly or their first month or their first quarter they purchase. So if you guys have been looking and watching us use Chart Prime or Army Pipe use Chart Prime, you'll see a lot more of that next week as well. You guys have a great situation with our link. Make sure you take advantage of that. What I'm saying here, though, is that despite the fact that we had a fall last night, and I'm not even necessarily saying it absolutely is over, but it's paused right now. We have fallen to very, very strong levels of support. Going even deeper, let's go over here and look at what we're seeing on the Chart Prime indicator itself. Again, this is some of the beautiful things you have. These nice support and resistance levels. We have our number 4 here. The most significant one on the 12-hourly chart is all the way down at 1800, but we'll see how far we get. Our dynamic reactor is sitting right at this number 4 level, right at 25. If we drop lower, that's the level my next level I'm looking at to kind of match up not only with our support level we had back here on the 13th of February and kind of get a double bottom there, but also remember this is the previous top that we had back in November before the big crash to what is right now our low for the entire market. Let's go back over to my normal chart and talk about the significance of this in case anyone is newer. Maybe you haven't been watching me do TA for a little bit. That's the top of this yellow box right here. So there's another zone. If we break this orange box, I'm kind of watching this yellow zone right here and saying, all right, what's going to happen when we get down to it? The reason for that, the top of this yellow box being a former resistance level, being a place that we've already bounced off before and used as support, this is significant because in previous bear markets, as we've talked about in this show several times, this has been one of the few things that I'm finding in common with other bear markets is if we're going to go with the philosophy that we have set our bottom here, look right here, back in 2018. Resistance before the final dip. We hit our bottom. We break back up. We break through it. We come back down and retest it several times, but we use it as support. Yes, over here, this is the Black Swan event that was the pandemic. Does not count. What we're looking at is all this information over here. If the pandemic had not happened, we would have just continued to move up. This would have kind of moved sideways and began a rally over here. This is back in 2018, 2019. Let's go back and take a look. I'm going to go log on this one just so we can see the difference. But same thing. It's a little different, but same thing. Former resistance, we hit our bottom. Instead of breaking through, we bounce our heads on it a couple times, but finally we break back through and come back down to test it as support. This is something we see bear markets do. So again, do we have to repeat it? No, there's never a have to, but it would make sense to go and repeat the same thing we've seen in the past 2 bear markets. So whether it is the bottom or not, this is going to be a good spot to buy. I do think we'll see 21.5 again, whether we see it in the next couple of weeks, whether we see it later this month, maybe we see it later in a different quarter. Anytime we're going to hit 21.5, in my opinion, that just so you guys know, I'm not giving you financial advice, Tim Warren is going to be purchasing up some Bitcoin when we see a 21.5 for sure. But as I said before, we're looking at a very local support level currently where we are at. Watch us struggle though. 22.8, I don't think we're going to get back above there. That not only is a nice level of resistance here that Chart Prime is kind of giving to us, but also when you go back over here and we're in a bearish trend right now. This kind of tertiary bearish trend back to setting lower highs and lower lows. We kind of even have, and I think I have it drawn on the other, yeah, I have it with that, excuse me, with that falling wedge pattern. Let's draw it over here on my Chart Prime. Watch us kind of struggle with this falling level of resistance and potentially what we end up doing. Take down my oscillator really quickly. What we end up doing is kind of finding our support right here, bouncing back up, and maybe coming and meeting this line again, getting that 22.7, but this is still a lower high before we make another move to the downside. Now, I'll go ahead and draw my other support line for you, and I'm not going to get my zones. I'm just going to kind of have some rough. This is a falling wedge pattern. So what could be very, very interesting as we start to talk about these levels, would it not make sense? Am I going to delete? Nope. Don't want to delete that line. Got to draw that one back really quickly. Would it not make sense in this little shorter time frame falling wedge pattern if we were to do something like what I just drew right there, as our dynamic reactor continues to move sideways right here, as we have this nice little flat level of support, as we've bounced right here, maybe we come back up, we meet this little point right here, we come back down and we find this support level, and then we make our breakthrough of this falling wedge pattern and start to maybe have a shorter move back up. Don't be surprised if we kind of change this tertiary trend into doing that. And then when you look at it from a larger scale, I still think we could have some downward action to go, but that 21.5 could still be holding up, bouncing off that dynamic reactor, bouncing off this level of support. And then we got to see, can the bears really rally the troops to push down below it? Now, another thing I want to point out here while I'm sitting here on the 12-hour chart on the Chart Prime chart is what we kind of had a blunder with yesterday. So I told you guys yesterday's show was so much fun and so terrible. It was the whole thing. Army Piper in chat was trying to help us look at this 12-hour chart, look at this nice green line, which has been a rising level of support that got broken yesterday. And it took me so long to actually find out what he was talking about. However, that has been called out right there. It's going to be very important for the bears to continue to hold this line. That's the other thing. Let's say we break this trend. Let's say in this falling wedge pattern, we end up breaking above. it's going to be interesting to see if we start to make some form of a rally back up here, what we do with this level, with this line. Bears will want to keep it. Even if we're moving and we're having a lot of momentum, as long as bears keep us below this trend line, they're feeling better about themselves in the shorter timeline. So keep your eyes on that. I told you I wanted to take a look at some things when it comes to this oscillator here. And I'm not seeing as much on these timelines. I might need to go to my hourly timeline to even kind of give you more updates on this. Either way, so the shorter timelines, these shorter hour and 4 hour, we're definitely picking up a lot of support, not only from these flat levels, not only from ascending and descending levels of support and resistance, but our oscillator is starting to kind of pop up here. We got oversold here. We got our green reversal triangle. We got a green momentum dot coming in. We're not getting it right now, but I want to point out this is one of the coolest features of Chart Prime, and I think we're actually going to see this a little bit better when we go over toward Cardano. But if you guys are wondering, and we've talked about this, these lines, these levels of bullish and bearish divergence, what makes them pop? Like if you were going to purchase Chart Prime, this oscillator and what it communicates alone is worth every penny that you pay for Chart Prime. And that is because when it pops up and gives you bullish or bearish divergence, it's not just talking about the RSI and it's not just talking about MACD. In reality, what it's actually taking into account when you look at several different oscillators, and I could list a bunch of them, it actually only triggers when there's confirmation over several oscillators saying that we have some divergences. So does that make it 100%? No, it does not make it 100%. But the probability, when you see a bullish or bearish divergence called on this Chart Prime oscillator, that has a higher probability of being a reversal zone than RSI, than MACD, than RSI stochastics. It is the perfect, let's get this, when we look and do technical analysis, we're constantly looking for confluence. This is a confluence indicator telling you, boom, we just got divergence on several different timelines. This is a very strong indicator. That being said, that is all the Bitcoin TA I'm going to do for you guys today. Long story short, we did fall, yes. But I asked in chat, or I asked in Twitter earlier, I think this morning, I said, hey, were you guys brave enough to buy? Are you going to wait a little bit more? I bought a little bit, and I'm not necessarily, I told you guys 21.5, I still think is a very interesting spot, that I want to buy more at 21.5. I might even, like, I'm not going to spend my entire dry powder that I have, but I think I'll still even look for potential new bottoms. But those spots are so juicy. Definitely in the short term, I think, T-Stream, there's a very good chance that there's a lot of traders waiting on the sideline that are watching and waiting for us to break this 2200, that I think they might have to wait a little longer. So my word for you guys, that if you did not buy the dip last night, be patient. I do think we're going to set a new low, but it might not be today or tomorrow or even this week. This happens a lot to traders. And so this, before we jump back into some other charts, I just kind of want to help you guys think through this and not make mistakes that I've made in the past where I set levels. So let's take, for example, I would have in my past said, I want to buy, go back to my chart here, T-Stream. I'm going to kind of walk through this.
You're right.
I'm going to buy at 21.5, right? All right, so I see this crashing. I'm like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's falling like crazy. I'm going to buy at 21.5, all right? We didn't get there, did we? The temptation to FOMO in now, the temptation to say, oh, maybe I missed it, maybe I should get back in, is very, very, very strong. But the best traders realize I didn't get my spot. I wanted 21.5. I'm just going to be patient and let the market come to me. Zoom out, look at it. There's still a lot of weight pulling Bitcoin down towards that 21.5. Don't see this momentum wave. Don't see us. Oops, I got my marker. And maybe I need to zoom in here just a little more. Don't watch this happen and be like, oh, I need to jump in, and then jump in somewhere up here around 22.7, 22.6. Because even if you jumped in and we went a little higher, the profit's just not there. Be patient and wait. If you wanted 21.5 or lower, be patient and wait for a move like this, and then get your buy spot. Too many times, more times than I want to count, I have had a buy spot at a lower level. We bounce at a higher level. I FOMO in, and then we end up dropping down to my original buy level. And if I had just been patient, I would have gotten exactly what I wanted. Lesson has been learned on my end. Hopefully you guys learn from my mistakes and you don't make the same exact ones. Pause real quick. We're going to jump over and look at Cardano for sure, because the Cardano is one of the ones that as much as it's down, it has some of the stronger supports that I'm looking at right now. But I want to go ahead and say we got over 100 people watching. I think we have 110 people live right now watching. Thank you to everyone who's live watching us. Go ahead and smash that four-fingered mitten. We only got 49 likes. 49 mittens have been smashed. Let's get that number up to 75 within the next 5 minutes. Very easy to be done. Do we have a treat if we get to 100 likes today, T-Shroom?
If I will post a selfie every day from the cruise.
I feel like you're going to do that anyway. Beamer will join the show. I think that's a good, solid reasoning. If we get to 100 likes, Beamer will join the show, give us his take. I'll let him sit up here by himself. He knows how to rock the show even without me. So 100 likes, Beamer comes on. Let's go over here and take a look at Cardano really, really quickly. Oop, still on my marker tool. So I'm playing with this a little bit this morning. I'm looking at some different levels. I definitely got my fib up here. I'm going to look at fixed range volume profile. Let me go down to my linear chart as well. Yes, we had a wick come below, but we do seem to be finding some consolidation here at the 50 on the Fibonacci, the 50% line. This is a really key level when it comes to using Fibonacci to find some good retracements. In case you're wondering, Tim, why are we at the 50? I went down here. I started my bottom December of 2022. That was the bottom of Cardano so far. I went up all the way to the peak that we had back here in February, and right now we are sitting above, but between the 50 and the 0.382. But either way, strong support right there. Let's even take a look. We're on the 4-hourly chart. Let's take a look at what we have going on over here. Now, this was something I posted last night. And let me go to a different chart. I'm going to clean up this chart. Let me go to let's go to Kraken. I don't have anything drawn on Kraken. I made a post on Twitter last night, and I told you guys when I'm right. I'm going to tell you guys when I'm right, but I'm also going to tell you guys when I was wrong. I was wrong last night, but I had good reason to be wrong. But I talked about on Twitter last night on the 4-hourly chart. I said, hey, anyone order the bullish divergence? And what I'm talking about is these lines right here. Very good bullish divergence, and it's kind of twofold. So there's two different points that I'm kind of looking at right here that set up our bullish divergence. Grab another line right here. This is in more normal terms, you're gonna see this be great call for bullish divergence. Did not hold up. We broke that divergence very easily. So I kind of joked to myself on Twitter. I was like, all right, looks like the cook burned the plate. We got to recook. We are still setting up bullish divergence though. So this is what's kind of really cool about the whole situation is despite the fact that we did have this big dip, we still have the divergence coming in. And I'm just talking about RSI right now. So let me just look at these 2 points right here. Boom, boom. RSI divergence. Sorry, actually going to go back to this point right here. Back here. We still have our RSI divergence kind of forming. Where am I going to? That's a flat level is what we're looking at right here. Boom. So we got a flat bottom. We got a flat, a descending level. That's still divergence. But what makes it even cooler that we have going on, this is where I told you guys the oscillator that we have from Chart Prime gets really cool, is when I see this now, we have several different levels of divergence. We also paired it with a bullish momentum dot that just came in. We also flashed oversold here on the 4-hourly chart. Cardano has a lot of things going for it right now that look extremely bullish. The MACD here on the 4-hourly chart, despite the fact that we had a hard dip, is starting to curve back in the right direction. You definitely can see the bullish divergence on the MACD. This blue level back here is way lower, and despite the fact that the price is dropping, Cardano could be very interesting. That's just looking at the oscillators. Let's go back over to our normal chart and let's look at this Fibonacci. Let's look at fixed range volume profile. Let's look at these levels. So first thing I'm going to say is keep your eyes on a couple different levels here. So I'm going to get rid of our Fibonacci, but watch this golden pocket I'm going to have drawn, and then we'll look at some other purple lines here, and we'll look at some fixed range volume profile. We are holding up right now. Yes, we wicked below, but we're holding up at that 33 cent. This purple line coming down here, 31, very interesting, and that shows up when we come back here with our fixed range volume profile. Let's pull that up here, and boom, that purple line is signifying, in fact, the most volume that gets transacted. If we go back all the way, it doesn't really matter how far back I go. If we're coming back here, let's just go back to November of 2022. The most amount of Cardano has been traded at this level right here at 31 cents. All right, so that is going to be important. If, again, the bulls have a lot of strength right now to have support on some of these smaller time frames, but if they give up, if the bears can continue to push them down, watch 31. And then, of course, this golden pocket comes in around 30 cents, so lower 30 to higher 30. These are levels we've actually been discussing even before. Even when we were rallying, I talked about how Do not be surprised if Cardano gets a nice rally and pulls back down to these levels. That shows you some great support. Why is that? Well, let's go back to the exact same kind of thought that we were looking at with Bitcoin. Even though Cardano doesn't have the same history, doesn't have as many bear markets, doesn't have as much to go with, it's a similar trading structure of this was massive resistance, both this green level and this purple line, both levels of significant resistance before the big break for Cardano down here towards 23 cents, which at the moment is the bottom. It would make sense, even if we go set a new bottom. Like I'm not even saying the bottom's 100% in, but it would make sense that these levels will be heavily bounced, and these will be great opportunities if you're a trader, if you're a swing trader, day trader, even if you still believe Cardano's going down to 17 cents, 10 cents, if you believe Bitcoin's going down to $10,000 or 3,000, these levels are still going to be levels that will fake out the market. There will actually be some 5, 10, 15% rallies that happen on these levels as we continue to set lower highs and lower lows. So keep your eyes on this level. The green level, 33 cents, has been tested. How high up could we go if we're continuing a downtrend? Similar to what I was talking about with Bitcoin, I would not be surprised to see us come back up here to 34 cents and hit our heads. This is the support level that we had back here in February. Actually had double bottom here before we made our push up to 42 cents. This has a lot of significance to when it comes to support level. In fact, let me pull up that fixed range volume profile again. More than likely, we're going to either see a peak. Yeah, we're probably going to see a peak. Right there, this is as the peak starts to climb. Technically, it's a little higher than that at 35 cents, but you get the gist. Wicks down here, candle bodies close in this area. That's going to be a level that's going to be hard for the bulls, even with them trying to bounce back to push back through. So keep your eyes on that when it comes to Cardano. That is the tea I have for you guys today on altcoins. We'll cover more next week. I'm excited because with T-Shroom being gone, with T's Shroom going on his vacation, we're going to probably do a lot more technical analysis and cover bigger stories. I love T-Shroom gets into the weeds. He tells you the stories that maybe you didn't even know you should be looking for, but have really big impact. With him being gone, the strength of the show will probably shift into more TA. So for anyone who's a trader and anyone who loves the charts, you guys are gonna love next week. For those of you who love the news, you guys are gonna get a week to kind of just watch a lot of charts. And we'll still cover news stuff, but T-Shroom will be back the week after. And then big news for everyone, and we'll transition now into stocks and news stories. But we announced to our Discord yesterday, and now you guys get to hear, Army Piper has been a big friend and ally to the show, and we're excited to announce that he is going to become one of the faces of the channel as well. Not only will he be filling in for T-Shroom next week, but he's going to start joining us every single morning, bringing in his takes with Chart Prime, bringing in his takes of just how he sees the market in general, and also a lot of other assets he's bringing. I cannot wait. We're going to have a very dynamic show. We told you guys Investing Bros was growing, and we're going to take over the space. And this is just one more step in that direction. So if you guys love Army Piper and you cannot wait for that, and you have not already, smash that like button, put something in chat, congratulating and welcoming him. And I'm going to throw it over to T-Shroom so we can jump into the market open and then jump into some of these juicy stories.
Yo, let's get into it. The market is open. So let's go ahead and jump on in and see what is happening with it. But before I do, let me just issue a warning. This has been a rocky week, guys, so we'll see what is in store here. Looking at energy, seeing natural gas continue to be green as we're seeing potentially a bottom in for natural gas. That bottom on the ETF UNG would be 716, and on the futures contracts for spot would be $1.09. 90 cents. So pretty intense there from natural gas, as it's getting a little bit of upside here in the early minutes of the New York session. Oil doing just the opposite, getting a little bit of retracement there from its gains. And these candlesticks are looking very unsure, and that is because I am on the weekly chart. So let's go to the daily chart and take a look. You can see here, oil failing really to even test above 78.51. Kind of getting clapped and coming back down to just go back and test. So that's actually a pretty good sign for inflation. Not as good of a sign here for natural gas, as it looks like it has put in a pretty convincing bottom there. That's without any kind of indicators pulled up. That's just other than the Bollinger Band there. So moving along, let's go ahead. Looking at green on the screen for your indexes here. NASDAQ is leading the way higher, up 0.44%. So not by too much here, but it's green, and we'll take it. Crypto, as you can imagine, pretty red. with Ethereum down 4.4% here. Let's see who's leading lower. It'd be AVAX is down pretty good. Litecoin down 6.5% here. Let's see who's doing the best, who's holding on the strongest. So I have to say, you'd have to give it to Binance or Cardano here, at least on this snapshot of the market. It's going to be XRP actually, only down 2.5% here. But this is just a snapshot, definitely not indicative of the rest of the trading day at all. Gold and silver getting bought this morning, with silver leading up 0.7%. Let's see, big cap tech stocks doing pretty well this morning, actually. Green on the screen. Love to see it there from your U.S. equities. You'll see who's leading here. It would be Meta making a comeback up 2%. Very nice, very nice. All right, and then your bonds are getting bought this morning as well. So assets are getting bought. Wall Street is out voraciously buying up assets this morning, and the yields are coming down ever so slightly.
They had a big day yesterday.
They did.
Though. So it just makes sense to see some flipping. After a really big green day for anything, it's pretty common to see the next day at least start off red.
Absolutely.
And then vice versa. You know, when someone's red, start off green. So Arby Piper made a good point yesterday in our AMA that we were in, that this is something to keep an eye on. It's 9:35 right now, but a lot of times there is volatility in the first half hour to hour of the market open. So while we're starting off in certain directions, stocks being more red, crypto looking more green, that doesn't mean we know for certain that's what the rest of the day is going to look like. This is definitely something we'll keep an eye on for the rest of the show, and we'll keep you guys posted over on Discord about what's happening today.
Stocks definitely green, crypto red. I think you might have said that backwards.
Did I say it backwards?
Yeah, but that's okay. I think
sometimes that brain works that way.
So I skipped the Dixie. Just looking here at the Dixie, you can see starting to trade sideways, slightly lower, as it has found a good, nice level rejection there at 105.3. Moving back down, did not get up to that 200-day moving average, so that would be a pretty nice and bearish sign for the long term on the Dixie. This is the daily chart. Looking at cannabis, unchanged. Not sure what's going on there because these should have some kind of value, but Tilray up 0.3. A little curious there. Mid-cap tech stocks here. CP.ai is not the name of this company.
You want to say
it is C3.ai, and it is up 8.7. It's very volatile, but it's up a lot. It's up more than 17% this morning. You can see it. You can see that number on the screen jumping all kinds of around. Let's actually go down to the hourly chart for this, and you can see, yeah, look at all this volatility, guys. This is crazy. So I believe that the name here was they did really well on earnings. They did really well on earnings, as a lot of companies said, hey, this whole chat GPT thing is really shaking things up. Maybe we should get enterprise AI services. And they all called up that sales rep who's been nagging them about over at C3.ai and said, hey, sales rep, what is this whole AI thing we've been hearing about? Maybe we could start to get that. And then the sales guy got him to sign the contracts, and that is now reflected in the old earnings report there for C3.ai, and it is shooting right on up. And I may have got that coverage a little bit wrong, but that's basically a summation of why you're seeing a giant move to the upside there for the AI name. I wonder if we will see that trickle into the AI coins. Let's actually go take a look. Let's look at Fetch here really quickly, just for the chuckles and the jink. No, it is not moving into Fetch. Although I will point out that this had a pretty nice V-shaped recovery from the tank, from the Silvergate news, but it's had a nice little recovery. That is kind of something you want to watch to gauge the strength of cryptos here. Is what did that recovery look like? I know Atom had a pretty nice V shape there. I think Dot had a pretty nice V shape. Do I have that on my? I'm pretty sure I have that one on my watch list. Maybe not. What's the one that didn't? Well, Cardano had like a delayed V shape, but it was still pretty V. Optimism. Let's see if I can find an example of one that didn't really have a good V shape. Well, I guess they all kind of did. Last night. Oh yeah, there you go. So XLM, not very. You can see it. It bought up very quickly, but then the rest of the recovery just kind of traded sideways here, and did not resume much higher. So that's interesting, pulling down that Bollinger Band average line there on the 20-day. So we'll keep moving, but that's interesting to watch. I got to add DOT to my list. How do I not have DOT on here? I don't know. It's all fun. I think it might have accidentally gotten deleted because that is definitely strange. Let's see a Tron really quick. Yeah, see Tron had it started a recovery, sold off lower, sold off more. That is really interesting before making a decent recovery and then trading sideways. So it's always interesting to see the movement after major events of these coins, because it can be indicative of two things. Just, the strength and veracity of buying in these names, the level of conviction in the names after a major sell-off. How many people wanted to get into this but were just waiting for a discount. And you can kind of survey and look across, what got bought, what didn't get bought. Optimism getting bought to the upside big time, right? Getting pushed back, and this is on the 1 hour, so but that's a good way to get a good indication of this. Optimism getting bought all the way back up to its midline there on the Bollinger Bands. Uniswap didn't get all the way back up, right? So lower conviction, had a nice recovery, but traded sideways and couldn't get back up above. Ethereum, pretty similar outcome. Bitcoin pretty much traded sideways. So it looks like in this cycle, people wanted to get into those names like Optimism. Optimism's been doing really well. People are feeling like it's underbought. See Cardano, similar. So that's a really good bullish sign. Okay, I think I've made my point here pretty extensively. Ooh, Cake, not looking good there. Let's check Binance. I'm checking all of them, guys. I'm checking all of them if you didn't notice. All right, keeping moving here. That's pretty much gonna wrap it out. Meta almost staying up above that 2% on the day so far here. And C3.ai is what threw me off here, because we're seeing if the AI coins were able to rip off of the movement here on the AI name on the stock market side. And as we saw, taking a look at FET, it is not really the case. I would say overall, yes, it had a recovery, but I would expect FET, to have an equivalent move of 16%, you'd probably see it somewhere up here at like 56 cents or something like that, and on the way back down. That's not the case. It's just not the case. Oil producers down markedly. All right, well, that's going to wrap out our market open. I am T Shroom, soon to be on vacation, T Shroom. And in case you forgot where I was going, it's the Caribbean, baby. Oh, just one more time. Let's take a look here. I'm just kidding. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the crypto stories for today. Starting off with just some headlines that I'm not going to get too deep into, but that you definitely want to be aware of. Look at that cute little puppy on the ad there. Love to see it. Ethereum devs confirm ETH staking withdrawals pushed to April. So, Shanghai is a very anticipated upgrade because we'll be able to unstake the ETH that we have staked. To be honest, I haven't done that. I have not staked in any kind of wrapped staking situation, so I have all my ETH unstaked. But we'll definitely be. What is that? I'd say that's a delay of a potentially bearish event, so that could be bullish. Although I'd say this is not really a bullish or bearish read. This is just kind of a disappointment, I guess, from a dev standpoint. But it's good to see that they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's before they go ahead and make this upgrade. Tim, do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I would put this, again, it's a mixed bag. Some people think that the ETH staking being released is going to be bearish. I'm of the opinion it's going to be more bullish, because are some people going to take their ETH out of staking? Absolutely. But I think you might have more people who trust the whole process, knowing that it's unlocked, that they can just go in and stake and withdraw at any point. I think it's bullish. So pushing this back is bearish to me, because once it's a delay. People don't like delays. Now, it's not that long of a delay, especially those who waited for ETH 2.0 for the longest time. A month is not really that big of a deal. But it's a pushback that it could bring some more unrest, especially with some unknowns, like we just saw happen last night with Silvergate. Like we're going to see, we're hoping that Jerome Powell and the Fed, if you want the price to go up, you're hoping they don't kind of crush the market by going hawkish, but they could. So there's a lot of unknowns right now. So this is just one more that I'm going to put in the more bearish category for Ethereum. That it's just adding another bit of unrest to holders and stakers. But we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be a crazy impact, but I'd give the edge to the bears.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, my highlighting tool is giving me a little bit of trouble today, but I think I've been able to make a recovery already. So we'll go ahead and check out our next headline here. Bitcoin long liquidations hit highest level since August. And this is really kind of the result here of the Silvergate issue, as it's mentioned here in the article. But exchanges liquidated longs or bulls Bitcoin futures worth over 62 million during the Asian hours, the highest among since August, according to data from Glassnode. Short liquidations worth just over 500,000 were also observed. And I believe Army shouted this information out in the chat already, so we're just diving a little deeper into the details. The dominance of long liquidation shows the leverage was skewed on the bullish side, meaning most traders were positive for a price rally, meaning that exactly what Tim said is that this move to the downside in crypto, this move down here, I'm just looking at FetCoin as an example, this was unanticipated, this move. And if you look over here, I actually skipped this, I meant to bring it up. This is Silvergate over a couple of months since 2001. You can see the price movement. Boom, something went wrong here in May of 2022. Things started to look south, made a recovery back to those price levels, but did not ever see those again. And now you're starting to see just kind of things destabilize, and that's probably going to spell potentially bankruptcy. That I think that's kind of where this is probably, that may be the next chapter for Silvergate. I'm not saying that that's what has to happen, but that's kind of the next logical movement there. But overall, crypto is not anticipating that. But Coinbase crypto asset surges 160 in just one day, despite recent shutdown of its sidechain. Now, I doubt it's still up 160 after the Silvergate situation, but one altcoin to potentially be taken a look at here is RLY Network, an ecosystem of on-chain consumer apps, shot up from trading around 0.015 on Wednesday all the way to a high of 4 cents later that day. So definitely something to look at, as it is associated with a pretty big and well-known, well-established, and publicly traded crypto name in Coinbase. Moving right along here, this is Tim's favorite publication, You Today. Look at him. It puts a smile on his face to see.
You know what? It really, at this point, the only reason why I love seeing it is because of how much it irks you.
I don't know.
You don't like it.
That's good. Bitcoin miners foresaw current BTC plunge, analyst says, and here's what happened. And here's why I don't like it. Look at this. You got all these big chunky links to their social medias. Don't need it. Okay. You got this big ad. Don't need it.
Maybe if you had Brave browser, you wouldn't have that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that what I should do? Get Brave browser? You got to have a disclaimer, all of this. Oh, look at all this just fat that we don't need. Finally, we get to the story. Finally, we get to the details. And that is what You Today does deliver. They do have the details, but it's like cryptic.
They hurt your eyeballs looking at them?
Yeah. I don't know what is going on over there. I need to have a talk with them. Miners have sold almost 4,000 Bitcoins over the past week from their BTC reserves, the equivalent of roughly 88.2 million. So that's quite a bit. That's not a small number. And then this Twitter account says, seems like BTC miners saw it coming. This is from Ollie Charts. And then this is a chart here pretty much illustrating the miner reserves has really gone down quite a bit, reflecting that 88.2 million reserve number really coming down there. And then and relative to the price USD of Bitcoin. So, as it's ticked up and kind of traded sideways, the miners have been selling. So really interesting all throughout February, late February. So definitely some interesting information there to digest as a trader and an investor for crypto. Tim, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I'm looking here at this chart, and I'm going to pull it up even bigger and kind of just look at this. First of all, you guys can see the you can go to my screen. Yeah, you're on there. Yep. The white line is the USD price. So this doesn't even this chart, when this was read out, did not know about the Silvergate crash, which I don't know if they can see. Oh yeah, they can. I'm doing air quotes because that's what everyone's blaming it on. I don't know if it's that simple. There's a couple different insights I have about when I'm looking at this. First of all, this started way before anything with Silvergate this week became a bearish factor. They were selling. Gonna be interesting to kind of see how this one plays out. But there's a part of me that almost is in the same boat of saying this might be a nothing burger story. It's worth bringing up and talking about because the miners did move, and we need to find out more about what happened. But let's remember, you can go off the screen now and just go back to me. Let's remember that miners have been kind of in trouble for a while. with how far and how fast Bitcoin came back below 20,000 and was hovering there. And for a while, it's really funny because we're complaining right now about 22,000 on Bitcoin. Just a month ago, we were so worried that it was going to take a while before we could get back above 20,000. Our momentum, our ideas shift. But miners were getting really stuck. Because we even heard stories of certain mining corporations having to shut down. They just couldn't pay the bills. It was one of those, if we liquidate right now, we're not going to get that much money for how much Bitcoin we have, but we got to liquidate some to pay the bills. Traditionally, you see the miners liquidate at tops and you see them accumulating at the bottoms. But there was a place where it's like, man, we're at a bottom of a bear market or close to a bottom of a bear market, and all these miners are having to liquidate just to stay alive. What is happening? And so the good side of this that I think that could make it a nothing burger is this recent momentum, this push up to 25.2 has allowed miners to almost like if they were underwater, get back up and get a breath of fresh air to keep them in business. Yes, a lot of people like looking at the prices and looking at where it's going, but I think this could be a decently good thing because it's gonna this breath of fresh air, this bear market rally, whatever you want to call it, allowed miners to take some profit, to continue to mine. Because remember, if for some reason miners just in the masses start shutting down, that would open up this world and this opportunity for centralized systems, centralized businesses to come in and get a monopoly on Bitcoin mining. And right now, that is the weakness of Bitcoin. That is the one thing, the one threat that could hurt Bitcoin ridiculously is if one entity or a very small amount of entities that have similar goals were to take a monopoly on the mining situation. So the fact that miners were able to take some profit, get some breathing room, pay their bills, continue to mine, keep Bitcoin decentralized. Is this going to be bearish for the price? Yeah, because people are going to look at this and say, oh, miners are selling, I should sell too. However, it could be a good thing for Bitcoin in the long run. I'm not necessarily too worried about it. And then the other positivity with the price going down, this is where you got to learn how to think. Price goes down, good, because I can just go buy more on sale. The same way you get very excited when your favorite cereal goes on sale, or when beef, which has been ridiculously priced, goes on sale. You get 50% off on a steak. That's a beautiful thing. I never complain about that. Same thing with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, all the rest of them. When these go on sale, it's a great day. That's how we got to start thinking about this. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this story. We'll see how it unpacks. We'll see more details come out. But right now, I don't want people like running for the hills, freaking out, fudding. This could actually be a good thing.
Yep, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and get to the big kind of gorilla in the room. Let's go ahead and get to it and figure out what exactly are the details surrounding this whole Silvergate debacle at this point, I think we could call it. Silvergate Capital shares dropped 57%. We looked at the multi-month chart, but it is down 57% after the crypto bank delays its annual report. So that is what the big story is here. And that, what does that spell? Uncertainty. A delay in an annual report. What does that mean? That means the data is not getting to investors, and the investors don't like that uncertainty. Shares plummeted Thursday after the bank delayed the filing of its 10K report as it evaluates events that have happened since the end of 2022. The company, which provides banking services to crypto businesses, ended the day lower by 57.72%. That pushed its year-to-date loss to 67%, and it's lost 95.7% in the past year. Goodness gracious, that's a lot of percentages in high order there. That's not what you want to see in a name you're invested in, that's for sure. Silvergate said in a filing Wednesday that it needed additional time for its accounting firm to complete certain audit procedures, that it's currently analyzing certain regulatory and other inquiries and investigations. Specifically, it cited the sale of additional investment securities beyond what was previously anticipated. That's not what people want to hear in what they're invested in, and the impact that the subsequent events have on its ability to continue as ongoing concern. Goodness gracious. The losses from the security sales appear large enough to result in Silvergate's calling out that it may now be less than well capitalized on its regulatory capital ratios. JP Morgan analyst Stephen Axopoulos said in a note Thursday, given significant regulatory challenges and business challenges, the company is reevaluating its business and strategies. So getting some major analysts also downgraded Silvergate shares Thursday along with other Wall Street analysts. So big, bad, bearish news over there at Silvergate. It's no surprise you're seeing it in the charts, but those were some of the sorry about that. Those were some of the details about why you're seeing a 57% sell-off to the downside in that name, SI Silvergate. Shooting back over, we do have some bullish news though. That is that U.S. law on the regulation front. U.S. lawmakers say SEC directive may bring greater risk of loss. Before we get into this one, Tim, did you want to digest those Silvergate headlines?
No, I think it's good. That's the speculation on right now. It's what makes the most sense. I'll say the one thing I'll say about it is like we didn't crash that hard for being that bad of news. Like, that is pretty bad news at Silvergate, which is a bank which has a lot. I mean, I saw articles about like Coinbase and others like kind of ripping their stuff out of there in anticipation of a full out demise. $1,400. It's not that bad of a crash for how bad of a story that is.
And that has been the theme for 2023, right? Yeah. Bitcoin and Ethereum buck the bad news. They get sold off a little bit, but then they trade sideways. We will see if that trend continues with this Silvergate story. Because remember, I mean, there is kind of a big shoe to drop. You've got the FTX trials that still have not, been sorted out. There's like a lot of class actions.
Do you think the FTX trial is going to have an impact on price, though?
Well, there could be some kind of situation where something comes out that the public doesn't already know.
The unknown.
I believe it's news today that FTX actually was in the FTX US is in the red, right? So that's news. So there's still things coming out. But yeah, there is some bullish news. Let's go ahead and get to that.
Let's do it. By the way,
Steve E. Shrum in the chat. Is
5 minutes. 5 minutes for 9 likes for Beamer.
Let's do it.
You got to get in there.
Let's make it happen, guys.
And if anyone can make it happen, Steve Shrum is one of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Steve E. Shrum.
Steve E. Shrum, Steve Shrum, Steven Shrum, Steve Shrummel.
And the E stands for equestrian.
Yeah.
U.S. lawmakers say SEC directive may bring greater loss of risk. So these guys are here, Congress people, lawmakers, Patrick McHenry and Cynthia Loomis, senator and a representative. So this is our senator. This is our crypto-friendly representative there in Congress, making it happen. Let's get into the details of what exactly they're doing. Batting for us in the crypto space. Lawmakers called out SBA 121, a staff accounting bulletin issued by the SEC last April. While the bulletin was intended to clarify how to account for digital assets held by custodians, exchanges, and other platforms, Loomis and McHenry say its pronouncements would place customer asset at greater risk of loss in case of a custodian's collapse, violating the SEC's fundamental mission to protect customers. There's Hester. Decrypt doing a good job of reminding you that we're not alone here in this fight of crypto regulation. The scope of assets covered by this broad definition, whether virtual currency, stablecoins, or even tokenized equities, is unclear, they wrote. A more nuanced hierarchy for this asset class, which considers the opportunities and risks of digital assets with different functions, is necessary. That's said very well. I think that is a very good statement of what the crypto space is looking for when it comes to regulation. A clear hierarchy. We get it. We understand that ApeCoin does not provide the same utility as Bitcoin and Ethereum. We get that. We understand that. And there needs to be a clear understanding to investors that is the case, right? But that doesn't mean that you just blanket and make Ethereum and ApeCoin a security and treat them as if they're penny stocks in the New York Stock Exchange. It's different. It's a different technology. It's a different way to expose yourself to risk. So this type of language from U.S. policymakers is exactly what I'm looking for in the crypto conversation here. So that's good. That's overall very, very bullish. Tim, did we get anywhere near where we needed to get for Beamer to appear on screen?
We're close. Four likes.
Okay.
We have 100 people watching, which means that there are people out there that have not.
We're only 4 likes away?
We're 4 likes away.
Yeah, I don't think I liked on my personal account yet.
Oh, okay. I see.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, that's probably the difference maker right there, because 1 equals 4, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're about to go on vacation, it does.
When you're about to go on vacation, everything equals everything. Let's see. let's get a close in of me getting this like button.
Oh.
Ooh.
Look at that.
But it might not.
We're
be
3
enough.
away now. 97.
It might not be enough. But I do have a couple other accounts that I could like.
Oh my gosh.
I won't go to my screen for that. and reveal all of my
Look at that. We just got up to it. We got the 100 likes.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Yeah, let me tell us a quick story, and I'm gonna get Beamer to come in here and read the charts. Yeah.
Okay.
You're good at stories.
I am a good storyteller. Let's see what story we've got. Well, I've got a new gaming laptop. That's a lot of fun. I've been playing. I downloaded Undead Blocks and played it for like 2 minutes, and it wasn't that bad. You know, it didn't impress me. It definitely did not seem better than Call of Duty's version of zombies. But there we go.
He's really struggling. Come on, Beam, you can do it. It's a rough one.
There we go. Aw.
What do you want to say? What are you seeing, Beam? Are you more bullish today?
Beamer, what did you think about the Silvergate news?
He didn't care for it, clearly.
Beamer, would you like to get down from that chair? All right. Well, there you have it. Beamer still making it happen. Oh, there you go. Now he's a little more well-oriented.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
What a gentleman.
Beamer, what are you going to trade? What are you going to buy on this dip? What are you buying? You buying AVAX? You trying to get on that Amazon headline for a couple weeks ago? You buying Tron? You bullish on the Justin Sun play of it all?
Not at all.
What are you buying? I know what he's buying. I bet he's buying Dogecoin. Getting in on that Twitter Elon Musk story. He's a good boy, folks. He tries hard. He does get himself into trouble. And now he's coming under here. Uh-oh. Oh, man. I'm going to be thinking of you guys every minute of my vacation. I'm going to be thinking, man, I wish I was back in the studio bringing you guys crypto news. I really do enjoy it quite a bit. But will I enjoy my vacation out on the beaches of Mexico and the Yucatan Peninsula and the beautiful island of Cayman? Yes, I will be enjoying myself. But probably not more or less than the time I get to spend with TA Tim. Whoa.
Yeah, our cameras
are
about
all messed
off.
up. That was all of Beamer's fault there. But
wow, this is
there we go.
Look what you did, Beamer.
But yeah, I did buy the dip last night. I bought a little bit of Link, Cardano, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. And yeah, I had sold all my Link a while back and taken some profit, so it's been good to get back exposed to the #1 crypto oracle.
Yeah.
You want to lead us off?
Well, I mean, that's going to wrap out today's show. If you guys didn't catch the early parts of it, go back and watch some great stuff early on in the show. But it is Friday, so this is the last episode of this week. It's the last episode for over a week that T. Shroom will be on. But of course, next week I will be joined by Army Piper, and we will keep the show going. We are the Investing Bros. Once again, if you guys have not smashed that like, go ahead and hit it. If you're new here, thank you for joining us this morning. Consider subscribing to our channel for more content that's just as informative and just as fun as what you guys have seen today. With that said, though, you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.